We're back here at NCBA Convention in Houston. Our coverage brought to you by Zoetis. We're talking now with Dan Halstrom, President and CEO of the U.S. Meat Export Federation. Dan, it's great to be speaking with you here. Exciting time at NCBA.
Yeah, without a doubt. We come into this meeting with some really good momentum on the export side. We're looking at, we don't have the final stats yet. We will have them next week, but we're on pace for a record year, broad-based growth across the globe, and we're looking at a new record of somewhere in the neighborhood of $10.5 billion in exports on the beef side. So yeah, we couldn't be happier about that.
So, Dan, when you're talking about broad-based growth on the beef export side, can you elaborate more what areas of the world you're talking about here, where we're seeing that broad-based growth and more exports going off?
Yeah, you look at some of our established markets, Japan, Korea, up significantly. You look at China. China's probably, percentage-wise, the real story. We're going to be, if you include Hong Kong in there, you're going to be close to $2 billion in sales into China, Hong Kong, where you're talking about something along the lines of, very small, less than $1 million to China 3 years ago on the beef side. So, you've got some broad-based growth there in the Asian markets, but then you have Latin America, you got Mexico, Central America, South America. You have places like the Philippines, Indonesia, and Southeast Asia. And then you're also looking at places like Africa that are very, very small today, but growing at a pretty fast pace. So, yeah, when I say broad-based growth, it's literally all parts of the world.
Can you explain to our listeners the benefits of having that broad-based plan rather than depending on one market?
Yeah, I mean, it's like your retirement fund, your portfolio. You want to diversify the risk, and I think by having so many different regions of the world being a very optimistic situation for future growth, it's healthy. I think the other thing that it does is we're not selling the same cuts to the same markets. We're diversifying the carcass. And, you look at things like variety meats going into Africa, livers to Egypt. You have kidneys going to places like Angola. Of our $10 billion plus this year, about 10% of it, or over $1 billion, will be variety meats. So, that's one aspect. And then maximizing the carcass, you look at Asia. Asia's very big with the highly marbled, the forequarter, the chuck. Very popular in Asia. The lean cuts are more popular in Latin America. So rounds, for example, goosenecks, very popular in places like Mexico and Central America. So it's really about maximizing that carcass all over the world.
So as these U.S. red meat products grow in popularity around the world, what are the ways that USMEF connects with consumers to educate them and inform them about what the U.S. has to offer?
Well, there's two key things that we're doing out there, and you just hit on one of them: education, telling our story, telling what's out there. We're enhancing that reputation as the global leader in food safety, which is very important. It's the foundation of what we do. And then we're talking about the eating experience on top of all that. We have a very unique product. Unlike most sources of beef in the world, one of the largest global competitors of bovine in the world is Indian buffalo meat. And you're talking about two entirely different types of bovine there, right? So we're not competing against them. Our price is 3 to 4 times higher than Indian buffalo meat, but the experience is entirely different. This is the sort of thing we're explaining to consumers around the world. And the other thing we're doing, the other big thing we do each and every day is with our infrastructure of offices around the world, we're developing relationships with the trade, importers, distributors, retailers, food service, et cetera. So, yeah, in a nutshell, that's what we're doing each and every day.
And you're not just based here in the U.S., correct? You have representatives from your organization all around the world, right?
Yeah, we're based in Denver, but that's less than 30 people. We have about 80 to 85 around the world in 19 regions. We have 19 offices around the world. So our largest presence is in Asia, one of our largest areas of destinations for exports, Japan, Korea. And then we also have offices in places like Peru. We have office in Colombia. We have a gentleman in South Africa that's starting to work the African market. So, that's almost as important as the large markets, because what you're doing is you're not spending a lot of money on promotion in a place like Durban, South Africa. You're spending a lot of money on people to go out and tell our story. And this is what we're focused on globally.
So a successful year in 2021. Like you said, the final official stats not quite ready yet, but overall, all signs pointing at record exports for U.S. red meat. Looking ahead to this year, 2022, what are some goals from your group, Dan?
Well, I think we're going to see continued growth on the beef side, albeit at probably a slower rate. We're forecasting somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 to 5% growth above this last year, which would be 2021 will be a record by far, and we're talking about a new record. But there's a lot of unknowns. We have a lot of things going on out there. We have global inflation. You have this supply chain. The supply chain, the international logistics is still our biggest concern, our headwind. We're dealing with that each and every day. It's probably showing signs of getting a little better, but we got a lot more work to do. I mean, one of the cornerstones of our business has been the U.S. enhancing the fact that the U.S. is a reliable supplier of our products around the world. And that's being called a little bit into question with the inability to ship each and every week like we usually do and knowing when the product will arrive. So a lot of focus in this area. Like I said, this recent announcement in Oakland where we're going to have additional space for the container turnaround areas by the port will help, but we need a lot more and we need it quick.
Lastly, Dan, what were your plans overall for NCBA Convention this year, and what were some goals coming into the event?
Well, this is a lot about developing our relationships with the industry here. We have committee meetings this afternoon with the International Committee. We have a checkoff highlight session that we're a part of. There's a good story to tell here, and our focus is to keep that momentum rolling.
How can our farmer listeners stay up to date on the work from your team?
Well, you can always go to our website or contact us, www.usmef.org, or contact us in Denver. But, we're here to help tell the producer story. And just a shout out to the producers out there. We appreciate everything they do because it makes our job a lot easier.
Well, thanks so much for the time, and thanks for talking with us at NCBA.
Yep, thanks much.
Again, that's Dan Halstrom, President and CEO of the U.S. Meat Export Federation here at the NCBA Convention in Houston. Our coverage is brought to you by Zoetis.